what? We're live.
Hey, it's Jess the Ska Kid. We're at Palace de Chilarino, and it is the interview portion of our show. Tonight, we have Bastards Asylum, who you got to listen to earlier. Hi, guys!
What up?
How about we start with
happening?
introductions? We'll start down there.
I'm Denny, lead guitar.
Corey, percussion.
Timmy Bastard. I do stuff.
Vince, on the guitarist.
Aren't you like the foundation of the band?
Foundation of the band. I played the bass.
I love that you added in something I forgot to say that you should include with your introduction. So good job, you've done your homework. Bravo. Where do you all hail from?
We're basically located in Kenosha, right here, right up the street, about a mile up the street. This is where we
That's where the
practice.
band's based out of.
That's what the band's based on.
But most of you are Illinoisans,
Yeah,
yes?
we live in northern Illinois.
Well, Corey's Corey's a new Illinoisan.
Okay, not really. I was born in Kenosha, and then I lived in Zion for like 18, 19 years.
Where he met me.
That's where I met him, and then
Once
moved
again,
back up to
tragic
Kenosha, and then moved to Gurney with my wife.
So,
My wife.
I mean, as far as our scene is concerned in Kenosha, you, I would say, have such a unique sound and are completely different than anything else recently that has come out of Kenosha. What makes you want to do death metal here?
What doesn't?
I like
Yeah.
it.
Why not? Why didn't you say why not? Come on.
Why not?
In a way, too, it's
She
like
set it up and you dropped the ball.
it's mostly because it's the same shit around here.
Yes.
You know, and it gets old. You go to one show, you go to all of them. You know what I mean? So with us, it's kind of a good thing. And for a while, I didn't think it was going to take off as quickly as it did.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt it was good to play death metal in a place where there's not a lot of death metal.
Oh, yeah.
That way we're the good death metal.
Yeah.
And people don't know.
You are definitely good death metal. You know,
There's
like,
not a whole lot to compare us to around here
No.
yes,
at the moment.
but like
At the moment.
my scope is larger than just this area. So like for me, listening to bands like Macabre and
What are you talking about?
well, I
Come
booked
on.
them at Parkside.
Oh, I went to that show. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, they have, by the way,
I remember that. I
they're
saw that
assholes
live.
and they're misogynists and they're like they didn't get punched in the
Dennis the
face.
Menace,
Yeah,
the drummer, right?
yeah. So they were like, "Hey, Dollface, why don't you go get us some food?" I was like, "Motherfucker, I'm in
They
charge of this.
axe
I'm gonna
murderers
kill
in
you."
prison.
So, you know, them and then like north, if you go north into like Milwaukee and Oconomowoc, you have like Cyanosis. And so like
I've seen them on flyers. I don't know those guys.
Just all down.
they're interesting. And like court costs and stuff. So like you guys are right in the middle of this hub of two large cities that have these little niche groups of death metal. Do you cross into those areas
Oh,
yet?
hell yeah.
Where will have us? You know, it's really
We
what
just
comes
go,
down
hey,
to.
we're in your basement.
I know. I'm excited. That's
and
important.
And vice versa. Like we've had bands come up from Indiana, and,
Mm-hmm.
you know, around that 8-hour drives, just to get here to play, Champions.
Minnesota would be another one that you could reach out to because
Yeah.
No, we
those
actually,
cities have a
there's
large.
been a lot of, I think there's a promoter out there or something there's been talk.
Yes?
Yeah.
Good. I know a band called Bonefire would be one that you would want to collaborate with. They came and played hat-tricks at oh God, 3-4 years ago now?
Yes.
Weird to think of how long that's been. How long have you guys been a band
A
though?
long fucking time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man.
2014, April 2014 is when the band started.
See, because I only just recently stared hearing about you
Oh,
guys.
we played a bunch of shitty gigs, sounded like crap before anybody knew who we were.
Where's been the best place to play?
Oh shit.
I'd say the recent hat-trick show's been kicking ass. I've been
Yeah.
loving it. Did that sound guy that they got in hat-tricks, he's the old sound guy? That motherfucker, best we've ever sounded.
Mhm.
He's really good.
Livewire was good. That was a nice show.
My mom was dying during that. I didn't enjoy that show, but...
You had to fucking bring that up, didn't you?
Aw.
You weren't even supposed to be there.
Yeah, we weren't even supposed to be there. That show was so.
Worked hard on our 3-piece act.
That,
You came
that
and fucked
show
it
was
all up.
such. It was one of those. Is it going to happen? Is it not? So
That was going to happen
the
regardless.
three of us were practicing and knowing it was going to be a pile of shit. Like I know me and Tim.
I didn't think so. I was super confident.
Me and Tim were like. Tim were mostly like, dude, if we have to back out, we gotta back out. And then all of a sudden, like, we're having doubts, and then Denny came out of nowhere, like, we're playing. I'm like, okay. Like,
you have such a well-developed, full sound.
It took 5 years.
Yeah, but like, how long have you? Is this the original lineup? You guys have always been these guys?
Nah.
Well, you live with
Corey's
me.
the new guy.
all right, so here's the story.
Fucking new guy.
I've been in the band, what, 3 years?
now.
Yeah, I think 3.5 years.
Like 3.5 years, so...
Me and Vince have been playing together for many, many years. I met Denny years ago with another band I was in. He came and filled in with us for a
I
couple
filled in for
shows.
Evangelists, yeah.
For the Evangelist, and but me and Vince have known each other for probably 15 years, and we've actually been playing together for a long, long time. And that's really
we've been
what's
playing for 15 years then.
yeah.
That's the
pretty
first time
much.
I met you.
Yeah, so because that's how we met was through a band, a local band in Northern Illinois, and it was just kind of me and Vince's friendship is what carried on to a lot of the songwriting that, like, we ended up meeting Denny and our original drummer and started getting songs for Bastards Asylum going, and that's how Bastards Asylum started.
So was it easy to come by another drummer? Because
You live with me.
Oh, yeah.
So the answer is yes.
I was in...
That's going to my brain, how I plan things.
So I was,
Denny walked upstairs and said, "You're in a band now," and then
Stole him.
So what happened? I was in an indie like alternative band, young adult, for like 2.5 years, and I decided I was like, you know what, I got to back away from music for a little bit. And I was living with him, so I was telling him about it. I'm like, I'm backing away for a little bit. I'm still gonna drum.
And then Dennis was like,
Yeah.
"No, you're not."
Basically, and he was like, listen to me, like, yeah, sometimes you gotta do that. And their drummer at the time, like, had like a nervous breakdown or like a mental breakdown. And Denny walks up and like knocks on the door. I lived with him. He was like, so our drummer just quit. Tim and Vince,
Quit's a generous word.
he's like, Tim and Vince are coming over tomorrow. So if you just want to jam,
That'd be cool.
feel free to walk downstairs. And literally like a week before that, I gave him this whole spiel, like, I'm not going to be in bands or anything anymore. Da, da, da. The next day, he knocks on the door, he's like, so Tim and Vince are here, so let's go. And that was it. I went downstairs, and I've been in the band ever since.
I was his landlord, and I kind of...
He was the landlord boss.
Do you want to keep your partner? Because otherwise,
I
you
want this room.
you all seem to like mesh very well together, and there doesn't seem to be any sort of. I mean, yes, you're dissonant, but I mean, like, not dissonant as in you don't know what's going on. So
100 times playing the same song over and over. That's what, it's all
Yeah.
practice.
right, how often do you practice?
Twice a week.
Twice a week.
Twice a week.
Twice a week.
Is
And then
it
for 5 years.
is it easy to coordinate that schedule, and do you have a good support system that allows you to continue to do this?
Oh, yeah.
Mondays
Oh,
and
there's a
Thursdays.
lot of, that's a lot of, that's a big topic.
It is a big topic because that is honestly what makes or breaks an upcoming band. Because, I mean, and we'll get to it in just a second, but you guys are going to Europe, which is significant because the festival you're playing is fucking awesome.
Nice to meet you.
And you have bands that start off and they get really good, and then, they have a family, or the girlfriend says no, or, something happened in their life and they're like, nah, I can't do this anymore. So, like, is that support system in place for you guys to continue doing this?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think
Absolutely.
everybody's pretty much in agreement. We're just going to do this until we physically can.
Well, my goal, my angle is I don't associate with anyone ever, so my life is easy. These guys are fucking up. But
They didn't make the bitch swallow, is what
yeah,
you're
but
saying.
it's
Just kidding. I'm a bad person.
but they're horrible human beings, so they make it work.
Corey's married, Timmy's got a kid, but I mean, we're here down in the basement on a Thursday night.
Right.
The only reason I'm not able to go over to Europe, at the time, like, the job I had just wasn't cutting it. And
Right.
then now, even then, like, I just got another one, like,
Nah,
2
you
months ago.
fucked your shit up bad.
Oh, I fucked it up. And then, luckily, we got Pat,
Maxwell.
Matt
Maxwell.
Maxwell from Wrath, or ex-drummer from Wrath, new
Wrath.
drummer
Miners.
for Miners, filling in, thank fucking God.
Wow.
Because, I mean, they
He's
told
from
me
Zion-
about it.
Zion Love.
We're Zion boys, so... because when they went to Europe, I was like, you guys gotta find a drummer. I wasn't gonna hold them back, like, well, I'm not going, so you guys can't fucking go. No, fuck that.
So you're the only one who has a child, yeah?
Yes.
How old is this human?
She's 2.
Okay.
She's
How? I ask because we do this show and we get flack a lot from people that for some reason now we're bad parents for doing this. do you have, you know, is it easy for you to play music having a kid, and do you incorporate her into your musicology?
Being 2 years old, it's really just still new to me. You know, I'm 37 myself, so I've been living this music lifestyle, being a musician since I was a kid, and you know, now to have a child, it's a game changer, and it makes life a lot difficult. It makes it very hard to leave her, to go to band practice, to go to shows and stuff. But luckily, I have a great girl at home that you know, takes care of her, and she allows me to do the things that I, you know, want to do. That my passion. This is my passion. This is my love, and she doesn't come between that. But it's definitely something on my mind as we progress and get busier. But also as Bailey, my daughter, gets older, because she needs her dad. She needs me to be there, and I'm doing everything I can to be there. And I mean, to make things worse, I'm in 2 bands. I'm in this band and another one. So it's definitely, right now it's complicated, but as a 2-year-old, it's not as bad. I know as she gets a little bit older, things will change. And you just cross that bridge when you get there, really. I'm just having fun.
Your view right now, as she gets bigger, do you think that you'll bring her to, say, band practice?
Oh yeah,
Or to
absolutely.
shows?
She's more than welcome. You gotta definitely diversify her too. Like, her mom is into like rap and hip hop and all that, so where she's, you know, being exposed to that, and then I'm the death metal side. I'm her death metal dad, so it's awesome. I love it. I love it.
How many of you right now are in other bands?
I'm in another band with him.
I'm in another band with him.
Okay.
I'm missing this one.
Yeah.
He was in 2 bands for a while. You were in 38 Double D?
Oh yeah, I was in
Kenosha
38
Legends.
Yeah. I filled in for.
I ran into my guitar teacher, who's the guitar player of that band. He said, I said, "Are you guys going to play the show this summer?" And he said, "I don't know. We don't have a drummer." I said, "I'll give you mine." And I just volunteered him to play it. And he played with him for like 3
Are
years.
you his whore?
Like,
Denny, are you a
when
pimp?
anyone needs a
You're a
drummer,
drum pimp?
like when
Oh, Danny will pimp all of us out.
Yeah, seriously, like when anyone
I
needs
got
a
a guy for
drummer,
it.
he's like, "I got one. Hold on," and he like messages me like, "Hey,
From the music store, yeah.
hey, Jamie, my guitar teacher, you know, guitar been 38 Double D. They need a drummer," and I was like, "Okay." And then all of a sudden, Jamie texts me like, "Hey, I talked to Dennis, and they dropped, you know, CDs off, and you know, I listened to them and learned, and then, you know, practice. I mean, they played 1-2 shows a year.
Yeah, it wasn't that big.
It wasn't that, you know, it didn't take, you know, like oh, I can't, I got all this time, you know, like it was just one show. It's a fun show, by the way.
It was a badass show.
It was nice.
How often are you guys playing out?
A lot.
A lot.
Yes.
A lot now.
Yes, you are.
We're making up more now because when me and my wife, like before we got married, like the whole like everything lining up to the day, it was like we can't do. All right, bye,
Bye.
Dennis.
Fuck up,
You
Dennis.
go shit yourself.
Got a baby bladder.
But
That's it.
leading
I gotta go
up
take
to
a
it,
shit
like
walk.
we kind of took like a month or two, like 2 months off, something like that. 3 months off. Basically, the summer, it was kind of like shows were kind of up in the air. So now we're kind of making up for it.
I really love Bastards Asylum too, because we're very DIY. So like, we book our own shows, and we invite friends from all over to come and play these shows. There's this bar in town here in Kenosha called Champions. They never really had shows before we started bringing our PA.
I know. I
and
was
this started-
fucking shocked. I'm like, that's the hood bar.
Yep.
There's
Yeah,
a
we
metal
do.
show
Yep.
at Champions. Who's gonna get shot?
No one yet.
No,
kidding.
yeah, it's nothing but love, and it's just great atmosphere, and it's definitely like we're bringing our people, we're bringing the bands, we're bringing the PA, and we run these awesome shows. So we don't rely on offers, and we get offers, and it's great, and it's definitely you know, I'm humble to get all these offers for all these shows, but still when it hits a point where it's like, oh, not a lot going on, Bastards will book shows all over Kenosha all day, no problem. We'll show up, we'll run it. So, and we actually have a show coming up. That's
316.
316. So St. Patty's Day
baby.
show Saturday, and that's at Shenanigans on Sheridan.
Yes, that's yes. Leah now is trying to do and bring music to that because she had reached out and was like, "Would you help book?" And I was like, "I don't know anything about this."
Yeah, she
place."
hit me up. I was sitting on the toilet one morning. I was like, all right.
Who does the booking?
All of us, really.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
Well, not me.
Yeah, I don't do
just
shit.
communicate.
It's basically I'm working and I get like a message like,
You
"You
wanna play
guys
it
want to play the show?" I'm like, "All right."
Yeah, me and Timmy do it.
Yeah, me and Denny have probably the most contacts, so we definitely are the ones that I guess, book it the most.
They schmooze more.
Is it easy or difficult to book shows? And finding bands to play with you, is that easy or difficult? Because again, you are a niche sound.
I wish I could say it's been difficult, but
No?
Not really.
I
Well,
think it's
booking our own shows or jumping on other shows?
we're getting to the point now where we're busy with just people asking us to play stuff. But in the beginning, it was tough.
It was fucking.
as a band starting out who doesn't have a lot of friends or doesn't have a lot of people in
We're
the scene.
old. All of our friends don't
Yeah,
come out to shows.
I've been around for so long to where I've made so many friends, and I'm lucky and blessed to have the friends that I have in my life, and I've played so many shows to where I've just made all this huge group of friends to where it's easy for me, but I've been doing this for a while, and that's really what it's all about. When you're starting out, it's very hard to try to get on these shows, but then once you start making these contacts and these friends, it just starts cruising. It's like a snowball. It's just
You see that yourself with what you're doing.
Yes. Which is why it is the only requirement is to share this thing, because you create metadata. And so because my page likes your page, if another band was like, what the fuck metal's in Kenosha, if they for some reason saw us, the things we like, you guys would pop up. And so that continues to have that chain. Every band that has sat down here, we've talked about, do you have, say, a sister band or a band that you work in collaboration where you're sharing shows and you're,
We got a bunch of
promoting
those
each other?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, we got like 5-6 bands that are like our
we just kind of
Shout out to-
go-tos.
Shout out to Crying the Tire from here in Kenosha. They're another
The
badass death
Vandals.
metal band.
Our brothers in the Vandals.
A lot of fun together.
Evangelust, me and Vince's band. We never
There's
got
that band
that.
Hatred Embrace, but they're a bunch of douchebags.
Fucking dicks.
How about Gored by Horns?
Fuck those assholes. Me and Denny actually went in and broke that band completely up, so they're gone.
that's no longer a thing.
Okay,
That's what Hatred Embrace is now.
so
Yeah.
here's the funny story.
Shut up.
I'm at work, okay, and another human being who works upstairs from where I work comes down, and they're like, you're into music? And I'm like, yep. And they're like, my friend's in this band called Gored by Horns. And I was like, yeah. They're like, have you heard them? And I was like, I don't know if that's a thing anymore. So it was short-lived, but the person who talked to me about it, I had not expected to know anything about that. So I was like, it's cool that, even though it's not a thing, that at least that genre is still becoming more relevant here, which is hard.
How'd that happen?
It is hard because you have an ebb and flow, I think, of the scene in certain cities. We are a mid-sized city, and the people,
100,000 people?
99.
Okay.
But I only know that because I have to enter demographic shit.
Joe was trying to work on it, but he fucked that up.
What was I trying to do?
Yeah,
I'm trying to work on
You're trying to add the population of Kenosha.
Oh, yeah.
That's okay.
That eviction
Fuck that
notice-
up hardcore.
That eviction notice came and
She
gone.
flushed. But,
Turned on the dirt
there used to
devil,
be
she's
ska.
gone.
Ska's kind of gone. Before, 80s and 90s, you had a lot of metal here.
Well, I was like a young kid growing up with, I always hung out with older guys. And that's what they're into. That's why I'm at the age I am, and I'm still into this old school, early 90s style death metal.
Yeah,
Right.
you
That's what I
can't
grew up
crash. I can't listen to anything new. It's hard.
No, it is hard.
It's extremely
Wait
hard.
till you get to be my age.
Like,
Everything new is garbage.
new metal sucks.
It's awful.
It's horrible. And I'm like, that's not, no, guys.
Well, pop punk and new metal used to be my enemy so bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
I mean,
Like, I got into Slipknot and like Mudvayne and stuff like Deftones, but anything after that, I was like, man, fuck all
I was the Slayer guy. I was just yelling Slayer in the hallways. I was
He's that guy.
Yeah,
He's
our-
the Slayer guy.
our 8-year-old will definitely look at us on the playground at school and be like, fucking Slayer! And I was like, can you please not get DCFS called? Because I don't want to have to explain our ideology and how you should be a free-thinking human. But, and he watched tonight and liked it because he asked us, he's like, I want to stay up and watch it. So, he was watching with his dad, who is a metalhead. Like, in our house with our 2 kids, it was ska, punk, and metal. And they have grown up listening to what I listen to, but Suffocation and Cannibal Corpse and Morbid Angel and Napalm Death.
So
and
you're familiar with the style of music, though. That's good.
yeah, which is
Name
why,
all
like,
the names.
listening to you guys was like, you are
What do we listen
You're
to?
good. Like you're top tier. You can.
Precision.
Yeah. Oh, what was it? Suffocation and Obituary had a love child, is how my ex-husband described it while he was listening. So I mean, that's pretty
That's
significant.
fucking
So nice.
And he went on tour with
Suffocation
Monstrosity and did their
fucked
sound. So
Obituary, and we popped out.
you
Wow.
didn't get the eviction notice.
They jizzed Denny all over the place.
So, what are your influences? Do you all listen to something similar? We've had bands that are like all over the place.
Oh yeah, we're all, especially him.
Yeah.
He likes all that new metal stuff.
That fucker.
I love everything. I love everything, but
Well-
I'm not really a driving force to. It's
Yeah.
really the guitars that are a driving force of Bastards Asylum. So it's like
fuck yeah.
Vince brings his style, Denny brings his style, and together they mesh together, and that's what creates what
But
we
your
are.
vocals,
We're just
bro.
slowing down the rhythm.
And then his
but-
drum fills. That's what I'm saying. That's why we sound precise, is because your drums fills. That's what it's all about.
The thing is like, when it comes to like death metal, I'll listen to like Death and like Cannibal Corpse and stuff like that, but it's never, ever been an influence on me. Ever.
No?
Never. I've
Yeah.
listened like
What's
I
your
li-
influence as a
like,
drummer then?
drumming, like it came from like Motley Crue and listening like with Tommy Lee, Tommy Aldridge from White Snake, Black Oak, Arkansas, Neil Peart, Vinnie Paul, Dave Lombardo.
Well,
you
tell him
know.
about Hot for Teaching. You can play Hot for
Oh,
Teaching.
yeah,
at
fucking
16.
Alex
that
Van
makes
Halen.
sense. That
He
makes
was
sense
16 years
because
old.
that helped lead into what did become the extreme forms
Yeah.
of metal.
What-
Espe-
I
if
watched
you-
him play Van Halen. I seen his work on the double bass. I said, I'm stealing him.
Right.
I was-
And now you're pimping him, huh? Okay.
Yeah, I'm
You gotta get that ring so
That's
you
my
can be like,
drum.
hey.
Like you look at my
Put it
like
back on.
music genres and everything, like in general, it just doesn't make sense like to anybody. Like my coworkers are like, so you're in a death metal band? I'm like, yeah. Like, so why do you listen to Stevie B for? And I'm
So
like,
then you should just hand
because
them,
it's good.
what is it, Chasing Death, and say, just read this. Because the intricate web that did become extreme metal did pull from all sorts of genres. You
Oh,
have
yeah.
jazz, you have ska, you have punk, which then led into hardcore, which then led into hair metal and power metal, which then led to black metal and
You
death
talking about
metal
Sam-
and thrash metal, and so,
You talking about that documentary?
yeah.
With Sam? You said-
Yeah, me and Danny were on that.
I
for
sent him
while.
a couple messages.
Yeah, I
Tell
mean-
him all about Bastards Asylum. Sam, you watching? You get it, bro?
But that leads me up to this. So you have shows here locally, which is wonderful. You're going to Europe. Talk about how you got on, where you're going, and what you're doing, because that
Your guess is as good as mine.
you don't know how you got it.
Timmy can tell you a little bit.
So,
Explain this, because like you would be the first people here who are like, hey, we're a local thing going to play this massive fucking festival, and if people who are watching don't know, festivals in Europe that focus on music, specifically metal communities, are fucking giant. With what is it, Wacken
Wacken.
Air Festival,
Wacken.
and
Hellfest.
yeah, fucking massive, and like up and coming bands really get their start. And if you're honored enough to play on these stages, you are playing with people who were your influences. So how
yeah.
did you do this?
Really, it's a contact. It was a contact that I made 10 years ago. It's a band called Sacrificial Slaughter. I'm wearing their hat right now. This guy, Steve, he's booking tours now. And 10 years ago when we toured, he wasn't. But so it's just a contact I made, and now he's gotten to the point 10 years later where he's built his band up to where they're co-headlining this tour with Lividity, and it's an awesome tour. And he just thought of me. He reached out to me and was just like, hey man, I got this tour going on. If you guys want to get on it, let me know. And we talked it out, and we were like, let's do it. So that's really how it happened. Was just a contact I made years ago, and
But
really,
we went up and met with him. Like, I think we met, was it last March? We went out and seen Sacrificial Slaughter was last.
Yeah, well, they were opening for Vader. Like
Yeah,
he
yeah.
does
Fucking
U.S. tours.
Vader.
Yeah.
Fucking A.
Well, we went out, we had lunch with them, we brought them beers and shit.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think that might have helped.
Oh, yeah.
I really did.
Bringing beers
You feed
always
people.
helps.
Good things happen.
A little butt kissing doesn't hurt, but you just make contacts, and that's really what it is.
We didn't know that's what we were doing at the time. We were just trying to hang out. I didn't realize any of this stuff.
And I'm not gonna lie, we're going to Europe in May, and we're still looking for another band to join us on the bus. So if there's any death metal bands out there, please hit up Bastards Asylum. I'll give you the contact to my buddy, my contact. So it's possible to do something like this. There is money involved because you're the opening band. You're the band that's coming out there to support Lividity, which is just, it's
They're
just
an
awesome.
institution.
It's fucking awesome. If you don't, never heard of Lividity, please listen to them. Never heard of Second for the Slaughter, please listen to them. They're badass bands.
Yeah.
We're gonna have this crazy opportunity to go out there, and the tour is set up. The tour is set up. Like, we don't have to do anything, but we're
Show
on
up.
this tour. Yeah, we're there. We're gonna show
Buy-
up with
all,
our.
all
with
you
our
have to do is
instruments.
buy plane tickets.
Yeah, and it costs money, so there's money involved. But that's what's part of trying to get your name into that, trying to get your foot in the door.
And the name of this is, because I don't want to steal all your thunder.
The U.S. Perversion Tour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or not U.S. Excuse me, European Perversion Tour. Lividity just came out with a new album called Perseverance, and so that it's based off of them as the headliner. And definitely Second for the Slaughter. And then we have a band from Iceland that we're going to tour with, which I'm excited
Divine
about.
Defilement.
Divine Defilement from
We're gonna
Iceland.
hang out with dudes from Iceland on a bus, and we're gonna
Be
drink.
careful.
Whoa,
Whoa, whoa! You making statements that maybe I can't.
Daddy's from Wisco. He can handle it.
Hey, fuck you!
It's not my fault you're a fan.
Now I have to kill myself in Europe because of what you just said.
It's okay because you
Love
won't
you
be
too,
found,
Vince.
and then we won't care. Just kidding. I'm a bad person. But if you get lost in the woods, at least the trolls will find you. That's Norway.
Or the lost black metal bands.
So it is you guys and who else?
Divine Defilement from Iceland. Second for the Slaughter, they're from California. Lividity, they're also from Illinois.
And they're looking for one more.
Looking for one
If
more
we don't
to
get
come
one
up
more,
and
we're
join
going
us on the
anyways,
bus. Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And then
Tour's booked.
this tour will go where? Where will you start and where do you end?
We're starting in Germany. Our first show's gonna be in Germany, in Berlin, and then it's gonna hit up Austria, Slovakia, Czech Republic, Holland, Belgium. We're going to Italy. We're going to France. Just several countries out there.
I believe Hungary was on there.
Hungary, Switzerland.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, these are the countries we're gonna hit in about a 2.5 week period. And it's just basically you're on a tour bus and you're just they're gonna get us there and we're set up, play, and just have a good time. Enjoy the beer.
This will be your first time going overseas to do
Yes.
this? How
Well,
many?
not his.
Not his.
He did it 10 years ago.
I did it 10 years ago with Evangelists, and
Okay.
it's a one. When I did it, I thought it was a once in a lifetime experience. Now that I get to do it again, it's an honor. It's definitely awesome.
So, like, are you guys prepared for the amount of crowd that you'll be playing in front of? Because it won't be a hat tricks.
No.
No, we are not prepared at all.
No?
I just want to make that very clear.
Like, how comfortable do you think you'll be playing? I mean, and
What's the biggest crowd we've ever played to? Maybe 100 people? Most?
FTA.
Yeah.
Well, Denny didn't play that one technically.
As long as you guys have FTA, you're good. Remember, if you do, remember the protocol.
I ain't worried about nothing. We just go out
Vince,
there and we do
Oh,
it.
grab
I'm not worried
bass,
about the crowd.
You grab the guitar and then you just sing.
Yeah, there you go. I'm not worried about the crowd. I'm worried about I've never performed for 20-something days straight. I've never done
That's
anything
what
like
I'm more
that.
worried about than
I've
anything.
never,
Same.
and
Yeah.
it gets easier. I know as a bass player, it gets easier. Like the first show
you're
or two,
cold,
you're
so
like
wow.
you're a little rough. You're like, oh, this is a little uncomfortable, and then you just cruise the rest of the way. As a vocalist, I've never done that before, so that's definitely a little nerve-wracking.
how do you keep your vocals and your voice?
Honey Jack.
Stones.
And here's another question. So my experience with a lot of bands that I've come in contact with, whether it be, I got to interview Niall and Morbid Angel and
Did you
Behemoth.
really?
Yeah.
When you were in Parkside?
Through Parkside, yeah.
Whips?
Yeah, whips.
Yeah.
But my uncle works for Dean, and so he supplies guitars for these bands as well. But
I'd like one of those.
they're all about, reach out to John Poole through Dean Guitar, and if you want an endorsement, you send a nice polite little letter saying, I know your niece, we played her show, you're into music, can you help me?
We're gonna tour Europe. If they
Yes,
Back.
couple
because
beans waiting there. That'd be
yes,
awesome.
yes, because that's what an endorsement is. You ask to be their whore to show their product. This is where my question is leading. How important is gear for your sound? Because all of these bands that we talk to, they go through Carvin. They like Dean. They like custom amps.
I'm telling you, we're the most versatile band. Put us on
Yeah,
anything.
no, yeah, we can.
We'll knock you off the stage. It
We'll
don't
make it
matter.
Yeah, we'll play fucking anything. I'll play Mickey
That's
Mouse.
unique
I'll
in and
play-
of itself.
I'll play a Mickey Mouse kid and blow the shit out of anybody. I don't care.
That's unique in and of itself.
It's all about adapting.
Hey, drummer, because I'm an asshole and I know that this happens a lot in death metal, do you use triggers?
Nope.
No.
Don't need 'em.
he's
We all natural.
Well,
There's no
All
guitar
natural.
pedals.
Don't
There's-
fucking need them.
That's kind of a rule in the band. No pedals, no triggers, because all that shit just makes everything more complicated and it's more
Yeah.
shit to go wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
No, we plug straight into our heads. There's
You know
no
how many,
effects.
how many
nothing.
shows I played with where someone has triggers and you hear just like the
Click,
wood,
click,
the,
click,
the
click,
wood
click,
block fucking clicks and all of a sudden it just goes out and you can't hear a fucking thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So
a nightmare.
we're gonna go
All
on tour.
natural.
We don't know what
You
heads
can
we're
tune
playing.
your
It doesn't
bass
matter.
drum to sound like
Make
fucking
it work.
triggers.
What do you have to bring to go on tour? Just yourself?
Just our guitars. I think.
Guitars, like my guitar, bass. Drummer has a little bit more. He has to bring a throne, his snare, his cymbals. I guess that's about it. But still, it's a lot to lug overseas.
Microphone.
How much have you had to do yourself for promotion? And, because I like to ask questions in multiple stages, I guess, are you paying to play? Meaning, like, they reached out to you and they're like, but you gotta sell this many tickets, or you gotta do
No,
whatever.
no.
It's not. It's not a ticket.
This is a DIY tour.
That's
I
great.
think everybody needs to understand that, and if the bands are going to be on, they have to pitch in. And when you all come together, it's cheaper than if you did it with a record label.
And I want people to hear that because that's important. You guys are taking, I think, a major step in becoming more internationally known. And
When we get off this, we're not going to owe anybody anything.
that's wonderful. And I think that there's this misconception that you have to pay into the music industry in order to become something. Motherfuckers, they're just taking your money and getting rich, just like everything else.
It's a
Break
fact.
the
It's a
system.
business.
That's
And
why,
that's exactly
why
the story.
I never understood, like, especially bands around here, they're like, we're playing the rave, like, alright, cool. But we gotta pay like fucking, you gotta
Buy tickets.
You know, buy tickets
Yeah.
and fucking, hopefully your friends that's seen you guys
Well, that was a
multiple-
classic scam of the
fucking-
2000s.
Oh yeah, fucking your friends that's seen you guys multiple times will buy
I
it,
agree.
you know, it's like, fuck that.
We're gonna count it.
Fuck
Okay,
that
Dennis.
shit.
Like, I mean, really, what it comes
Should
down
get
to
that
is
prostate
what we're
check, bro.
doing.
Joe, why don't you go follow him? That's something you can flush easy.
Why would I follow it?
Because it flushes easy. Sorry, that's gonna be the joke.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's
I
a
know,
pretty
right?
good joke.
I'm a bad. You're right. That's the thing.
Fetuses
tonight.
flush easy too if you can get them out.
Joe
Yeah.
the baby.
So,
I
who?
don't.
And I don't know if we should wait for him to come back. I'm sure he'll jump in because I'm sure he
Yeah.
can hear us.
Probably.
But as far as creativity in the band goes, it seems like this is a collaborative effort. How does songwriting come about? Is it one human shows up and they're like, I got this, or all of you work together to make
It's kind of,
this?
oh god,
Starts
it's a cut,
most-
it's a cutthroat.
well,
it's
the
a
new
cutthroat
stuff
thing.
starts mostly with me and Dennis.
Yeah. And then like the riffs start coming, and then I show up to practice. They're like, "We've been working on this." I'm like, "All right, let's fucking hear it." And they start playing, and I kind of like fiddle around back there, and then I'm like, "All right," and then I kind of throw around whatever, and then we try and figure out if it can be a song or not, because we've tried multiple times. Like we get like halfway, and we're like, then we just kind of fucking toss it.
It's mostly, it's pretty organic. Though.
Starts guitar.
Yeah, it starts guitar, and then after that,
drive
and then
it.
it kind of just like molds together, and then it turns into something.
I can hear in my
Welcome back. We're
mind
talking shit
like
about
what
you.
I want to do
Yeah,
vocally.
something.
Like as a music fan, as a metal fan, I can definitely, as they're piecing stuff together, I feel I'm good at helping them to structure. Or if they structure on their own, that's great. And like I can hear in my mind where vocals should be, and then that's where I'll start. You know, just kind of randomly spitting out, and then we'll work on a title or like the actual like what the song's about after that, and get some lyrics down. Me and Vince have been working a lot together.
Within the past, year and a half, Vince has
Yeah.
started working on
Oh,
vocals.
yeah. There
And
was
it's
a lot of
adding a
vocals.
whole nother dynamic.
Yeah, like,
to it.
Yes, it
Oh,
adds a
man.
whole nother tier. I
Exactly.
like it a
And
lot.
it came out of nowhere too. Like
Yeah, it
it's
was
like,
kind of
I'm gonna
all
vocals.
organic. Yeah.
I'm not a natural vocalist. I was never meant to be. I just want to play bass.
So then how
And
did this happen?
Me and Vince were in a band, and the lead singer quit on us, and it's like, okay, we just kept playing, and I was like, well, it was like we were trying out lead singers, and I kept helping these lead singers learn the lyrics, and it wouldn't work out. To where it got to the point where it's like, I already know the lyrics, I'm just gonna give it a shot, and then they just ran with it.
That was what,
Just ran with
12
it.
years ago?
And it sounded good, so we just kept going.
Well,
And I
he's
have a
honed his
natural stage
voice.
presence, so that
His
helps
voice now
too.
is not what it was then.
No, yeah,
Even
it's
like-
grown over the years, and my natural stage presence got me through too, though. Like I love getting up there, and it's a rush. I don't get into Evangelist because Evangelist I'm just the bass player. So being in Bastards Asylum, I'm able to give out a little bit more than I normally do.
I play old guy metal.
Old guy metal?
We play the old stuff.
Old guy metal. Our socks are this tall and our hair meets it. So, with your lyrical content, how do you come up with that?
It's very random.
Very
random. Like
It's a lot of random growls. There's no actual real words.
That's not true. I heard that you should punch cancer in the face because your wife died.
No, that happened, yeah.
It'd be like
Well,
that
that one's a true story. That happened to Dennis.
We try to write songs about true stories, honestly, things that happen.
Yeah, I've got a ton of like.
I've always written what's real to me.
Smells like jail.
I don't write about certain things that like, oh yeah, we're death and we're so brutal and just being, just writing about whatever. No, it's like I write about things that like suck in my life or that are great in my life, or it can be random stuff. But like then he comes to practice with a story, and it's like that's a great story. Let's
Tell us
write
that
a song
story.
about it.
I wanted to talk about it on the show.
Which one? There's two of them.
Coked out pants
Coked out?
puncher.
Or Dead
Well, that's the
301.
most famous one. I can't say anything. I work for a company. They provide health care. That's all I'll say. Some of those people they take care of have cancer. Some of those people they take care of stay in a hotel.
Okay.
And so one night, when
This starts.
I'm filling in on third shift. I'm picking up some overtime, and I hear something come over the radio, and then they're just basically telling me, don't go over to said hotel. There's some serious stuff going on over there involving our employees. Don't go over there. I said, okay. And then I found out later that day what had happened. And what had happened was that a guy, basically, he was on a coke bench. He ended up staying at a hotel. He was from way up north here in Wisconsin. He ended up in Illinois. And he was in a hotel full of cancer patients. He started talking about how his wife had just died of cancer. And, he was really mad at the whole situation because he's listening to people's stories.
Mind you, his wife did not die. She was
Mind
very
you.
much looking for him.
Oh, this is the Shyamalan twist.
But in his head,
Yes, this is what
he
had
had
happened.
convinced himself that she had died.
Yeah, so he's talking to these people, and then it gets to be about, I don't know, it was 5:30 or whatever it was. Yeah, 5:30 in the morning. And
That time where you need more. Just saying.
yeah, so he got upset, and he started assaulting cancer patients.
Patients that were waiting to get on a bus for treatment.
Oh God, that's a shitty way.
This is real life. This really happened. This guy's punching cancer patients in wheelchairs with oxygen tanks in the face.
Because he thinks his wife died.
He thinks his wife died.
Then who didn't die?
No,
He
he
was
just
upset.
whacked out of his mind on drugs.
Wow.
So the police picked this guy up. I get the entire story about, like, I think it was like a day and a half later, like what had actually happened. I came to band practice that day.
And you're like, you gotta
I'm
do
like,
this.
what fucking happened?
Well, to me, I was like, you can't make this shit up. Like, you just can't. Like, who in their fucking right mind would go punching, like,
No one,
elderly,
and
sick
that's
people?
why he was a coked up
Cancer
person.
puncher.
Yeah.
Coked up
Cancer
cancer puncher. I wonder if you Googled that besides your like YouTube video, if you'd be able to find the story anyway. So I challenge you, internet, go Google because I might go do that later. Because it's fun to do. You're going on tour, and I know that we're close to the top of the hour. So, do you have merch?
We do.
I didn't bring it with
wait,
us today.
Time out. You're in a band with him, which is a band. You're in another band. Why?
I used to be in that band that
What?
he's in.
Why
I was
are
with
these
him.
other bands going on tour with you guys?
They're a bunch of sloppy bitches.
Yeah, that pretty much sums that up.
Yeah.
Broke bitches.
And there's money that has to do with it, and
Fuck
like,
Dakota, that piece of shit.
Ow! That's it, burn! Anyways,
So the search continues then.
Yeah, we're looking for another band. Yeah, definitely.
I
These
think
other
I-
bands are active, but there's money involved. There's plane tickets.
Oh, and there's
the
time
buy
involved.
on.
You
know,
gotta
to
buy
cover for the
on.
bus, cover for the tour manager, the bus driver, and all that. So that's
Time off of work. You have to get a passport.
yeah.
So
Those
There's
are the hard
costs
ones,
involved.
really.
yeah.
By the
It's a
time
lot
it's all
involved.
said and done, you forked out some money, but you're gonna have the experience of your life.
Right.
Why would you ever turn it down? Why?
Can I be as presumptuous
Fine.
as to
Oh,
ask
you're with
what
me.
it's an estimated cost for you to go?
It was under $3,000.
Wow.
per person.
It's cheaper
Well-
it's cheaper to do this than to say, hey, I'm going to go to Europe and visit all these countries
Yeah, it's
and
way cheaper.
backpack
I've
through
done that.
Europe.
Mhm.
It's cheaper and easier to do
Way
this
cheaper.
than if you were just gonna go and,
And
see these
or if
countries.
a record
and be
label
a
put
tourist.
us out there and we had to repay them.
Do you?
Absolutely not.
Are you guys gonna get paid for this at all?
No,
We're
you
gonna
make
make some
money
money. We're
off
gonna
of
go out there and
merch.
sell some
Gotcha.
merch.
We have to sell
Merchant,
merch.
make
To make
it
money, we have
fans.
to sell merch.
Yeah.
And people do buy merch.
And then
Yeah,
how much
absolutely.
notoriety are we going to get after this tour's done? How many shows are we going to get? Like when you think about how much money you're going to make off of this, it's not what you're going to make while you're there. It's after.
It's getting the love that you've given us to us tonight, like having not really heard us much before besides our demo. It's like getting that love from town to town, from
That'll
country to
make you
country.
money.
It's that's what's worth it right there.
So what merch will you have available? And if you want to help them with other costs so that they have some money to eat or drink, how about you buy merch now because they've got upcoming shows. Merch, upcoming shows. Talk about those things.
So we got shirts, we got stickers, we got beer cozies, we got pins, we got demos,
We got
Lighters.
lighters, and you can pick that up. So we're playing Shenanigans on Sheridan, and that's St. Patrick's Day weekend, this Saturday,
316.
316. And then we also have another show, 420, that we're going to throw at Champions. And that's going to be our big send-off show, and that's where we're going to be actually looking for, you know, like, hey, a little help to, because baggage fees are a little expensive. So we're
And
definitely-
drugs ain't free.
So even if you can't make the show, but you're interested in supporting them, you can find them on Facebook and shoot them a message and say, how can I help support you?
Bastards Asylum.
We out here.
Hit us up on
We're
Bastards
doing it.
Asylum. Tell us what you want. I'll send it to you.
Doing
You
it.
know, I'll let you know a price. We got PayPal, so definitely let you know. We'll send it to you. Or come to the show. And we'll sell it to
Come
you.
on up
Come
to
to
the damn
the
show. Talk to
come
us.
to the show.
Yeah, we'd like you to come to the show.
I've been known to buy people beers.
So
Yeah.
after you come back, now that you've done Europe, will you do a US tour?
That is the question. I wonder that myself.
I plan on doing a lot of infighting and then
Maybe.
probably break up.
That's something, I don't know, I guess me and Denny and
It's possible. We have a van. We
do
have a tour van.
That thing's
We have a
great.
tour van. That is a rock, and
Yeah, people
any
have-
shows that we get offered, we are open to any shows that are being offered. So if you're somewhere else in the U.S. and you got a good opportunity for us, let's talk about it. We're definitely down. You can exclusively hit us up basically on Facebook. So look up Bastards Asylum on Facebook, and that's how we can we'll book or play wherever. Anywhere we're invited, we're definitely going to take that into consideration.
We are definitely looking to branch out though.
Yep.
You guys should go to Tampa.
All right.
Yeah, no shit.
sweet.
Go down to
That's
That's
Florida.
right. We got a book. We
Yeah,
got a
baby.
book.
Yeah, baby.
Vegas,
I
Las
can't-
Vegas Dead Fest. Are you out
Yeah.
there? Las Vegas.
Hey, now that we've been able to do
Sure.
this,
Really?
we've been inundated with people who are like, I'm setting up a tour of the Midwest, where do I go? I just sent this kid a whole long fucking list, and he was like, that's great, thanks. And I was like, like, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, Iowa. It was like,
Well, we're gonna go to you when we need places to go.
yeah, so like those are things. If I can impart any sense of wisdom on you folks, it would be to continue what you're doing with that branch out sort of thing and making that connection and making sure that the onus is on people that support you. Like if you're supporting other bands, they need to support you back. And that's important because you have to want to grow that metadata because you want to pop up in a search. So search Bastards Asylum.
Do it, do it. It's all about that. The search engine.
We got Facebook. We got Instagram.
That voodoo magic that is Google.
Mm-hmm. And 316 SOS, you can catch them there, and then
Think about that. 316, Stone Cold, 420, smoke some pot.
Holy shit, you did all of the wrestling references. Oh goodness, and I
It'd be
can't
like that
believe I know
sometimes.
those things. Anything else in closing you would like to add before we are finished this evening?
Thanks for having us. It was
Really?
a fucking
Yeah.
awesome night.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Thanks for watching. If anybody's checking us out, thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Yay! So stay
I'm here.
tuned. We got big up and coming things from these guys, and if you're not familiar, check them out on Facebook. And if you want to help support them because they are going to go do a huge thing, you can catch them at their shows on 316 or 420, or just shoot them a message and say, "Hey, here's $5 because I know that I want to help you get there."
You support death metal.
Okay? Thanks. Bye.